Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to attend this great event. Uh, I will talk about Chinese role and vision in the changed global order. Uh, Ambassador Liu already gave a very persuasive uh, speech about China's approach toward the change of the world. Also, our our director Feng also gave a very thought-provoking overview about the China-EU relations, and I will present my personal observation about China's role and vision in the changed global order. First of all, I will talk about the trends in the evolution of the global order. Uh, After the 2016, there is a saying that the only certainty is uncertainty. I also mentioned that in the later 2016 that it is a greater intellectual challenge to understand what is going on in the world. Because I spent 3 months in Warsaw in 2016. I found Poland is not the Poland I used to understand. The world was quite different. First, I would like mention about China's official rhetoric about the world. It is the world is going through profound change, unseen in 100 years. The world has entered a new period of turbulence and change. In our Foreign Minister Wang Yi's word, we are now in a volatile and unstable era where change and turbulence are intertwined. The tectonic change is underway in the world. The global order is evolving and remaking. The profound changes are marked by some events of milestone. For example, the Brexit referendum and Trump's election in 2016. During the Trump presidency 1.0, US-China rivalry, what we say the great power competition. Then we saw the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2022, we saw the Russian-Ukraine war. Now, last year, Trump came back with his Trump presidency 2.0. I just want to draw some parallel between the collapse of bipolar order and the current evolving global order. Every change of the global order, we saw some events of milestone. Just if we saw the collapse of bipolar order, we saw some events we can mention about it. For example, the Gorbachev came into power in 1985. Then we saw the dramatic change, political change in East Europe in 1989, we saw the fall of Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany, then the collapse of the Soviet Union. But now, current the change of global order we can see is, for example, I just mentioned about some of the events of Mindstore after 2016. The second perspective is what we saw is the transformative or disruptive leader. For the end of Cold War, we saw the transformed leader in Soviet Union, that is Mr. Gorbachev. Currently, we see the transformative or disruptive leader is Donald Trump. The third aspect is the depth of the brightest of change. In fact, it's deep change and the widest range of change. It is, if you look at the fourth aspect, is the duration of the transformation. But I think the current change of the global order is longer than the previous, the change of the order in the late 1980s and the early 1990s. So it is very difficult to predict when the dust settles in current change of global order. Let's mention about several major observations about the current change of the international order. The first, the keywords is order or disorder. We see the different expressions: J2, J3. J2, China, United States. J3, China, United States, Europe. J0 is what we say the major player is US, China, Europe, Russia. What we see right now is the rise of the global south. The United Nations inability to guarantee international peace. The global governance is in crisis. Right now, we face a lot of wars and conflict. In Europe, a real fire in European neighborhood. What we say is the Ukraine war lasted more than 3 years. This war is the consequence is very serious for Europe as well as for the world. So we have a different expression, a historical turning point, end of the post-Cold War era, and different the collapse of the European security architectures. The conflict in the Middle East, we say, is the humanitarian tragedy in Gaza. It is almost it's amount to the genocide, in fact. The humanitarian disaster here, what we see. The second keyword is bipolarization and multipolarization. The different expressions, the new Cold War 2.0. Do we live in a bipolar world? Some political science use such kinds. But I think the Cold War mentality lingers. Some countries seek bloc confrontation through containment and decoupling. Although a strategic competition between China and the United States has become a trend, the bipolarity cannot fully reflect the reality of the international order. What we saw is networking for international relations we should not fall into the trap of a triangular perspective. In the Cold era, the triangular perspective is quite useful to understand the international relations. But currently now we face a different set of triangular relations. The current world order, okay, is very complicated and intertwined. We are now facing different set of various triangle. What we see is, right now is the expansion, enlargement of the BRICS, the rise of global south, the new dynamic of international relations under Donald Trump, right? Especially this year, when Donald Trump came back with try to reset U.S.-Russia relations, also tension of what we saw the tension of transatlantic relations. The third was globalization and the deglobalization. What you see is protectionism is on rise, economic nationalism is rampant, trade and investment, finance and technology are weaponized. What we see is geo-economic fragmentation, technology decoupling, trade decoupling, de-risking. The mainstream politics and all the populist politics right now, what we saw the last year's the result of the European Parliament election, the rise of populist politics in Europe. What you see is Donald Trump is coming back. Let me last would turn this role and vision in the evolving global order. The main message from President Xi Jinping is China wants to be an architect of world peace, a stalwart of global development, a staunch upholder of the international order. The main vision is building a community with a shared future for mankind, to build an open, inclusive, clean, and beautiful world and enjoy lasting peace, universal security, and common prosperity. The way of diplomacy is China's way is communication, not confrontation. China seeks partnership, not allies. Our foreign policy is independent, peaceful foreign policy. No imposition its will on other countries. Defend its legitimate interests. Form global partnership. Construct a stable and balanced framework for relations with great power. China's notion for global governance is the principle of achieving shared growth through discussion, collaboration, engaging in global governance. The combination of this idea is the three major initiatives put forward by President Xi Jinping: the Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, the Global Civilization Initiative. We are living a turbulent time. We face a range of global challenges, from development, security to climate change. The very survival of humankind is at stake. Confrontation has no future. Cooperation is invaluable. We are in the same boat. We should row together. Thank you for your attention.